Morning. How are you? Is it morning? No, it's afternoon. Afternoon. How are you, Dylan? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another live episode of Dazed and Confused, your 3 times a week live show where you can ask your social media, your video questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if I don't have an answer, I'll go off and find somebody who does and bring you the answer on the next episode. As always, we are live across a multitude of different places. Today we're on Twitch, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and 3 different Facebook groups as well. So thank you very much for joining us this morning if you have just tuned in. As always, we're here to answer your questions to help you as best as we possibly can do. Get on that content creation journey. Start making content for your brand and for your business. But who am I to tell you anything? Well, I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency, and we help brands and businesses create content that helps them stand out on social media, be that video, animation, aerial work, photography, graphics, all sorts of different types of stuff.
I've had a rather generous boost during this time. People are trying to learn how to live stream, how to set up a YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel's exponentially grown. Hit 24,000 subscribers today, in fact.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. When at the start of the year, I just passed 10, 11,000. So over doubled the size of my channel just through this period. And whilst that's autopiloting itself, I also started to step out into blogging. So the rather weird progress of moving from video to blogging rather than blogging into video. And that in itself, I've gone from 1,000 organic views in my blog to around about 7,000 views organically. Wow. All because the idea is that if I have the content and I know that these videos work quite well, if I can then give people the option to consume me in other media, they will choose whatever media they decide, whether it's podcast, video format, blogging, mini content, that kind of thing. So as long as you give them something and you remove the friction, then they can choose how they wish to consume you.
And that's exactly what I was just going to say. It's all about just removing that friction. If I read, then how can I consume what you've got to say if you all you do is video and vice versa? And if I don't have any time, how can I consume it? Well, a podcast would be a nice way and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, repurpose it.
Well, that's it. Like from our own little chat a few months back, I was able to take not only the interview itself, but then rip it into micro content, which then was either on videos on my own channel, whether it appeared on my social media, or yes, individually showing up in podcasts as well. So I'm just generally trying to broaden the spider web that is my awareness, my brand.
Yeah.
And that tends to work for anyone, but that's my new pet project, trying to do the one thing that I always failed for 10, 15 years, which is creating written content. And it's doing quite well.
Yeah.
And driving organic, not only traffic, but affiliate links and trainings, and just generally builds multiple pillars. That way, if YouTube disappears, I'm not left in the dust. I've got multiple things.
Yeah. And blogging's the one for me that probably the same as you. I'm probably just a little bit lazy when it comes to sitting down and writing, and so I'll do it, but not very often. So when I do things like lives and what have you, I will go off to something like Rev, get a transcription of it, and then just literally write into the blog, this is a transcription of a recent live, and then there's that written content there. So there's still that regularity of that written content coming up. So there are ways around it. Essentially, if you can't be bothered to sit there and go, all right, I'll write a blog for ages, it's not necessarily the best SEO way or keyword strategy, but it's a way around it that I've come across that I use now and again if I really can't be bothered to sit down or just don't have the time to sit down and write a blog. It's not necessarily about not being bothered, it's about finding the time to do it, because it's probably one of the more time heavy content.
The published author that had a best-selling book.
Yeah,
but enough time to write. I agree. Getting a transcript.
Excuse me, I'll just mute myself.
Sarcasm. Brilliant. Yes, Rev works. The advantage here is also, if you was to strip that audio and then dump it there, that works well. You can put that in other content as well, like alt text in social media platforms. But you can also then go back and then humanize it, polish it at a later point. But you can always go back and remove the colloquialisms that you would do within your own speaking pattern,
Exactly.
and then write it up a bit better and link it to affiliate. That's how I started my blog initially, ripping my larger content and then just going through and just the ers and the ums, because Rev are fantastic with doing every edge of your speech, the gaps, the the ums. I know that I interject with things like right, yeah. It's my educational brain. I stop for a second for you to understand that you got what I said, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. That doesn't play out in a blog as much, so you kind of trim those and then no, that works fantastically.
For a better way of putting it, I bastardise my blogs basically. If I go back into it and do exactly what you're saying, it's a great way of doing that.